welcome back to the range.
Thank you for having me back.
Absolutely. So we have our eyes and our ears on.
Yes, we do.
And when I teach the little kids, I do this little funny thing where I have them confirm eyes and ears. So I'll say pinkies and thumbs. Pinkies and thumbs. You'll find out what you're missing. So sometimes people leave their eye pro like this to walk onto the range, and you'll find out real quick
that the pinkies aren't there. Yeah,
pinkies and thumbs. Okay. So once we've done our PPE check, the next thing we're going to do is set up and unpack our range bag so that we can get started. And like we discussed in range etiquette, there's some things that if you do this wrong, you can violate the 4 safety rules. So this is a big ticket piece not to mess up.
Gotcha.
So first things first, let's go ahead and work with our bench here.
All right.
All right. Range bag. It's a nice bag. I like it. So go ahead and unzip. And before we touch anything inside, we have to determine which way the gun is pointed. So when we open this up and we take a look in, the gun is pointed to our right.
Yeah.
But if our safe direction is at our target right in front of us, we need to rotate the entire bag. You can't even touch the gun yet.
Ah. Yeah. Okay.
Because the minute you touch that firearm, it is now pointed in an unsafe direction.
Okay.
So now that we've observed, now we need to orient. So go ahead and rotate the bag itself so the gun is pointed downrange. Perfect. Now the second rule, of course, is keeping our finger off of the trigger. So we have to make sure when we take the gun out of the bag, we also maintain trigger finger discipline.
Okay.
Just because we're not in the action of shooting the gun does not mean this finger gets to misbehave. All right? So anytime you go to make physical contact with the firearm, make sure you're achieving a good solid grip on the gun. You will lift the gun up and you will put the gun down. Go ahead and give that a go.
Lift the gun up and put the gun down.
Excellent. So we have a chamber flag in there, which indicates that there is no round in the chamber.
Okay.
Which is fantastic. I encourage people to utilize chamber flags, and that's what this red piece is right here.
As they're like transporting the gun in their bag,
Exactly. Okay. And you know when you go to store the firearm, because you have that visual indicator.
Yes.
And everyone around you also knows that the firearm does not have a round in the chamber.
Got it.
If you had a magazine in the gun, we would take the magazine out as well. Okay. And as we can see here, there's no magazine in it.
Right.
Which is perfect. So the next thing we'll do is unpack the rest of our accessories, and we kind of want a clutter-free space because things can get messy and busy out here. So now that the gun is on the bench, we can unpack the rest of our pieces and components, but we want to keep a neat and tidy workspace because it can get real cluttered.
Gotcha.
Okay. So let's go ahead and bump the bag over, and then we'll start by taking out the med kit.
Okay.
All right. And we always want to make sure we bring our gear back towards us so that we're not ever reaching in front of the gun. So you can bump that back.
Back here?
Yep, that's perfect.
Okay.
Now let's take out the magazine pouches.
Okay.
And we can open that up. These pouches are great to keep everything organized. And then I believe in this lower compartment, we have our ammo. So I'll have you go ahead and pull that entire drawer right out.
Nice and organized.
Which is how we like it.
Yes.
So now that we have everything that we need, we can take out a couple of magazines and then put the rest away, again, keeping it neat and tidy.
Yes.
It's no fun when things fall off the bench at a range.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So now that we have our equipment set up and just what we need out and accessible, the next step is going to be to set the firearm up through load and make ready, then the procedures of the course of fire, and then how to repack.
Okay.
So now that we've unpacked, let's try repacking before we do the fun stuff in the middle.
Okay.
So what I like to do when I'm repacking is take everything else and put it away, leave the gun for last.
Okay.
All right, because people fuss with the gun and then it gets messy and things fall and then they have a firearm in their hand as they're trying to catch things, and that's the most dangerous thing you can do at the range is try to catch something as it is falling.
Okay.
And I see this a lot when people are packing up. So put all the little stuff away first.
Gotcha.
And then address the firearm independently.
Like you're working backwards almost.
Yes, exactly. Okay. So we'll just go through the motions of sliding that drawer in. Nice. Perfect. Safe direction.
Safe
Trigger
direction.
finger.
Yes.
So if you've been repacking with the bag like this,
Yes.
we cannot put the gun away. Another huge moment where we see new shooters getting in trouble with RSOs. So just in the same way we oriented the bag to take the gun out, we need to reorient the bag to put the gun back in.
Okay. Go ahead for it.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. What would happen, however, if you did drop something and you had the firearm in your hands? Put the gun down.
Okay.
Right? Or you would clear it out and put it down. Or you would ask for help.
Okay.
Okay?
Oh,
if
you can just raise your hand.
raise your hand.
Ah, okay.
But the key to that is you're not going to turn around or rotate your body.
Right.
You're going to keep the finger straight and off the trigger, the gun pointed in a safe direction, and you're going to raise your non-firing hand in the air.
Non-firing hand. Got it.
Exactly. And a range safety officer will come to you and help you.
Okay.
And where could that happen? Sometimes at a range, a magazine can roll forward off of the bench, and you cannot go there to get it.
Right.
So you might need assistance to retrieve that.
Right.
So never be afraid to ask for help. But again, unpacking, repacking, that's where these little things can fall and things can get squirrely and unsafe.
Yeah. It goes back to having the RSO as one of your best friends.
Yes.
They help out a lot.
They do.
They help out everywhere. Okay.
So now that we've got packing and unpacking and repacking and all of the packing done,
All the packing done.
we're ready to take the next step.
Alrighty.